So okay, and you just use a term that I think a lot of people aren't familiar with, tort. Do you have a definition of tort? Do you have a your preferred definition?
I mean, we'll look to the Black's Law Dictionary
And Black's law
definition of tort. It's
and just so the people know, Black's Law Dictionary. If you are confused about a word, that is a dictionary that you can get as a layperson, but typically your attorney has it and access it multiple times. But go ahead. You say what's Black's Law Dictionary definition of tort?
So I'll give you the technical definition. A tort is a civil wrong, so not a criminal wrong, a civil wrong,
So
other than a breach of contract.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but matter of fact, let me let you get into it because you keep saying things that I know most people aren't familiar with. The difference between civil and criminal is civil is just a preponderance of the evidence.
Well, there's many differences, and that is one of them. Is when you're proving a civil offense, you have to prove it by a preponderance of the evidence. Whereas when the state is trying to prove a criminal offense, they have to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. It's a higher burden of proof in the rules of evidence. But in general, the distinction between civil litigation and criminal litigation, civil litigation results in a monetary or equitable relief. So either a money judgment or an injunction, whereas a criminal case results in either a conviction or an acquittal. And if you're convicted, you lose your liberty. So it's not just a money judgment. It's now you go to jail, you go to prison. So that's the big difference between civil and criminal, generally speaking, between private citizens and business disputes. You're in civil law, and I'm a civil attorney. I don't do criminal defense or anything. So, but yeah, Black's Law Dictionary definition of a tort is a civil wrong other than a breach of contract for which a remedy may be obtained, usually in the form of damages. It's a breach of duty that the law imposes on persons. So basically, when there's a duty that is breached that causes damages, duty, breach, causation, damages, those are the elements of a tort. So we all have a duty to act reasonably toward each other. Sometimes we have duties that are imposed by law, and you have a duty to protect foreseeable victims from the consequences of your own irrational behavior, right? And so if you're going to go and start shooting a gun off in a crowded downtown area, you're committing torts. If you drive your car into the wrong side of the road and you hit somebody, you've committed a tort. And then there's a sort of hybrid con tort where it's sort of a breach of a contract that also was a tort because the duty that you're breaching arose from that contract, but there's some extra behavior or other duties that are breached.
That's a new term.
So,
that's a new term for me. Con tort. Yeah, great.
Bad faith litigation is sort of like a con tort, but in general, I look at myself as a tort lawyer because my clients are victims. They've been hurt by somebody who had a duty to them, and that defendant breached their duty to my client, and I'm going to go and try and get them money in order to compensate them for that.